Hello again, everybody. Today I'm going to talk about missions we did for the others. And the people I mean as the others are non-coalition forces, such as local nationals, women, kids, men as well, elders. Also included in the others was EPWs. EPW stands for Enemy Prisoner of War. Yes, we would do missions for the bad guys as well. Typically, this would happen when our coalition forces were involved with firefights with the enemy, and we would come across them as wounded, and Americans being Americans, we were going to provide medical attention to everybody. And unfortunately, most of the time that these missions took place, it couldn't have been 3 o'clock in the afternoon of the nicest day of the year. It was 3 o'clock in the morning at the crappiest time of the night, and the worst weather, or zero illumination. Just quickly, night vision goggles, the way they work is they take natural illumination and they amplify it. So if there's no natural illumination, such as stars, moon, anything, they don't work very well. It's like looking at a granulated TV screen from the 1980s with rabbit ears. I was there. But of course, we would get these calls in the middle of the night, and getting our 9 line, we would find out that it was an EPW, and immediately our eyes would roll, because, like I said, it was always the worst time. And I have to say that inside, I know myself, I can't speak for others, but most of the time you were thinking in your head, like, please die. And the biggest reason why was, for one, they were the bad guy. And for two, I didn't want to run the risk of killing ourselves being typically 8 crew members, 4 per aircraft, and the loss of 2 aircraft to go save the bad guy. And one of those missions we did was up the Tangi Valley. Of course, it was foggy and terrible weather, and middle of the night, zero illumination. And we were en route, and have to say that I think all of us had a smile on our face when we got the call and said to cancel the mission because the EPW had passed. That may sound terrible, but they were the bad guys, and they were in a firefight with our guys and wounded, and they shouldn't have been there in the first place. So, sorry. But anyway, yeah, that happened multiple times. We would get these calls for the bad guys, and also we got calls for local nationals as well. And unfortunately, a lot of times those were children. There was one mission we did where the injuries were from a fragmentation grenade, some children. And basically, they found Dad's grenade, and they were playing with it and decided, hey, let's pull this pin. Luckily, both those children survived, had multiple wounds from the fragments from the exploding grenade. But it was always the worst when we found out they were children. It doesn't matter where you are, what you are. A child is always a child. And I think we would just fly just a little bit faster if they were kids, because kids were innocent regardless of where they were in the world. We picked up one small child one time that had an abdominal injury. I believe she was shot or something. I can't remember exactly, but she was wounded. And when we picked her up, we also picked up the father and mother, flew along with her. And here she is. That's this young girl that has a abdominal gunshot wound. And after the fact, we found out that she was excited that she got to fly in a helicopter. So it was kind of cool to hear that. Plus, it was cool to hear that she survived and everything was all right. And I have to say, that particular time when we dropped off the patient and her parents at Fob Shank, the parents, or at least the father, turned around and acknowledged us and was nodding his head to us and waving at us. And that was probably the biggest thanks we ever got, from anybody, especially local nationals. So that was pretty cool to see that. It just sucks that kids were in this situation to begin with. And there was another time where we picked up a child that was, I think, pretty young, like almost infant, and his sister was holding him, and mortars started coming into the market, and this was out south of Ghazni. And when the mortars started hitting in the city, in the town, the girl panicked, and she ended up actually tossing her brother, on accident, just a natural reaction to panic. And unfortunately, the child received injuries to the head and didn't make it. The little girl that was holding him also lost her eye due to fragmentation from the blast. And we picked up the father, the daughter, and the son. Unfortunately, like I said, the son passed. And it kind of took us back a little bit because through an interpreter, we spoke to the father, and we were telling him how sorry we were that he lost his child, whatever. And his answer was, I don't know how to say it in Arabic, but it's God's will, which at the time is like, God's will. That's with kind of a smile on his face. So that's not what my feeling would be, I guess. But that was kind of strange. But anyway, we had missions, unfortunately, like that quite a bit with kids. And also the others, but these were actually coalition forces, were working dogs. We picked up a handful of working dogs throughout the year that we were there. And I'm pretty sure that we, if I remember correctly, we're proud to say that we didn't lose a single working dog from either fragmentation or gunshot wounds. All the dogs pulled through. All of our medics were trained by veterinarian staff on Fob Shank earlier in the deployment, basically how to administer IVs and different types of life-saving things to care for dogs. And it was pretty awesome that they were able to get that training, and it was pretty cool to pick up the dogs, and then they all pulled through. And sometimes we actually picked up the handler that was injured, and of course his dog would come with him. And that was always pretty cool. The dog would come up front and sit in the crew chief seat and look out the window and whatever. So it was always neat to have them on board. But anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about today. And if you have any questions or comments, please let me know. And I'll get back to you as soon as possible. So also, before I go, we got stickers still. If you guys are interested in purchasing a sticker, I will put the link in there. It is my logo, and it's 3 inches by 3 inches. So if you're interested, please reach out to me via PayPal, which the link will be in the information section of the video. All right. Thanks, guys. Take care and enjoy Freedom Week for the Americans watching these videos. Thanks. Bye.